The morning sun was just peeking over the horizon when people in the small park noticed something unusual. At first, it looked like a child wandering alone. But there was something strange about her. She was small, maybe 7 or 8 years old, but her skin had a faint silvery glow. Her hair shimmered like strands of gold in sunlight, and her eyes were larger than normal, deep and shining with curiosity. She walked slowly between the benches in the playground, looking at the adults who were jogging, walking dogs, or sitting quietly. When someone smiled at her, she smiled back. But then she asked a question that made people stop in their tracks. "Are you my daddy?" she said. Her voice was soft, almost musical, yet filled with a strange weight of hope. The first man she asked was a jogger named Daniel. He froze mid-step, his coffee spilling slightly on the pavement. I think you have the wrong person," he said nervously. The girl tilted her head, studying him. "Are you my daddy?" she asked again, more insistently this time. No, I'm not," Daniel replied, stepping back. The girl did not seem disappointed. Instead, she nodded as if she had expected that answer. Then she moved on to a woman sitting on a bench feeding pigeons. The woman, Mrs. Patel, blinked in surprise. "My dear, I am not your daddy," she said gently, trying to comfort her. But again, the girl merely nodded and went to the next person. Soon a small crowd gathered, whispering among themselves. People took out their phones, recording the unusual scene. A child that looked human, yet somehow different, asking the same question of every adult she met. Some people laughed nervously, some were curious, and some worried that she might be lost or in danger. Before long, the local authorities arrived. Officers approached cautiously, not knowing what to expect. The girl watched them carefully but did not run. When one officer knelt to her level and asked, "Are you lost, little girl?" She shook her head. "I am not lost," she said. "I am looking for my daddy. Do you know where he is?" The officer asked, confused. "No," she replied simply, "but I will find him." "Everyone tells me if you are my daddy." The officers exchanged uneasy glances. She didn't seem dangerous, but no child should be able to ask a question like that with such confidence and calmness. That's when Dr. Elena Ramirez arrived. She was a scientist specializing in human-alien interaction, called in after reports of unusual sightings in the area. Elena studied the girl quietly from a distance. She noticed something immediately. The child's eyes seemed to process everything, like she was calculating more than just what she saw. Her small hands moved gracefully, almost as if she understood physics without being taught. She didn't cry, didn't panic, and didn't show fear. Most children would be overwhelmed by so many strangers, yet she remained calm. "Hello?" Elena said softly, approaching the girl. "My name is Dr. Ramirez. Can I help you?" The girl looked at her, then nodded slightly. "Are you my daddy?" Elena laughed quietly, shaking her head. "No, I'm not. But maybe I can help you find him." The girl tilted her head. "You can try," she said simply, like it was a game she had played many times before. Elena was amazed. Every person the girl spoke to reacted differently, yet the child remained polite, patient, and curious. She asked each person the same question with a strange innocence, yet her tone carried a weight of meaning that made adults uneasy. It was not just a child's question. It felt important, almost like a test. Elena decided to take the girl to a temporary lab set up nearby. She needed to understand what she was dealing with. As they walked, the girl looked around at everything: birds, trees, cars, and even the small ants crawling on the pavement with keen interest. "You like to look at everything closely," Elena said. "I need to know," the girl replied simply. "Everything is new. Everything can help me find my daddy." Back in the lab, Elena ran basic tests. The girl was human in appearance, but her physiology was slightly different. Her heart rate was steady, her breathing calm, yet her metabolism seemed faster. She didn't need much food, and she healed small cuts almost instantly. Elena realized that this child was not from Earth, at least not entirely. Despite all her differences, the girl was incredibly friendly. She laughed when shown a funny video, clapped when she learned to make a paper airplane, and even sang softly in a language no one recognized. Yet every now and then she would stop and ask that same question, "Are you my daddy?" Days passed and people started to notice more strange things. Broken toys repaired themselves when she touched them. Machines that had stopped working started functioning again in her presence. Dogs that were aggressive became calm and obedient. The girl seemed to have an understanding of the world that went beyond normal human knowledge. The media caught wind of her, and soon, the whole city was buzzing with news about the mysterious alien girl. Some called her a miracle, others a threat. But everyone agreed on one thing: she was extraordinary. One evening, after a long day of observation, Elena sat down with the girl. "I know you're looking for your daddy," she said. "But maybe your daddy isn't like you think. Maybe he's not just one person." The girl looked at her seriously. "I will know," she said. "I just need to ask everyone." Elena nodded. "Okay, then we'll help you ask. We'll ask as many people as we can." The girl's face brightened and she smiled. That night the city slept under the quiet glow of the stars, but the girl's mind was awake, thinking, calculating, learning. She was searching for something far greater than a single person. She was searching for a place she belonged, and she was learning what humans could offer: kindness, courage, and care. The next morning, she was gone. The lab, the park, and even the city streets were empty. The only sign she had been there was a small device she had left behind. It was shiny and metallic, shaped like a tiny globe with lines of light running across it. When Elena touched it, the globe projected images of faraway worlds, stars, and strange alien landscapes. Elena realized that this girl was not just lost, she was a scout, exploring, testing, and observing. And the question, "Are you my daddy?" was not just about a parent. It was a test of humanity itself. News spread quickly about the device, and soon people from all over the world came to see it. But no one could understand it fully. Only the girl seemed to know its secrets. And somewhere silently she watched, learning about humans, deciding which qualities mattered most. Elena looked at the images, and her heart raced. The girl's disappearance was not a loss. It was a challenge. Humanity had to prove itself worthy. The child's journey had only just begun, and the world would soon realize that this small alien girl, asking the same simple question, was about to change everything. The sun rose again, and life went on. But the question echoed in everyone's minds. "Are you my daddy?" It was a simple question with no easy answer, and it would drive humans to show the best of what they could be. The girl was still out there, moving from place to place, asking everyone she met. Some laughed, some were puzzled, some were afraid, but all were reminded that even a small being could teach humanity something profound. Kindness, courage, and curiosity were what truly mattered. And somewhere in her bright, intelligent eyes, humans could see the reflection of their own potential. The small alien girl moved quietly from city to city, leaving behind smiles, confusion, and a trail of questions in her wake. Children were fascinated by her, adults puzzled, and scientists like Dr. Elena Ramirez were completely captivated. The device she had left at the lab continued to project images of distant worlds, and Elena often found herself staring at it late into the night, wondering who the girl really was and why she had come to Earth. It was a cool morning when the girl arrived in a new city. People in the park noticed her immediately. Her silver-tinged skin shimmered in the sun, and her golden hair glowed as she walked among the joggers and early risers. She approached a man tying his shoelaces and tilted her head. "Are you my daddy?" she asked, her large, shining eyes full of expectation. The man jumped slightly and then laughed. "No, I'm not," he said, standing up. "But you seem very polite to ask." The girl nodded once and moved on, as if this had been the exact answer she expected. She continued her search, asking everyone she met the same question. Each reaction was different. Some people ignored her, some laughed, some were scared, and some were charmed. But she never lost patience, never raised her voice, and never showed frustration. Dr. Ramirez followed the reports closely, keeping track of her movements with the help of the device. She had started to realize something important. The girl was not looking for a single human father. She was testing people. She was watching how humans treated each other, how they solved problems, and how they showed care. The first real challenge came when a building on the edge of the city caught fire. People were panicking, unsure how to help, and the fire department was delayed by traffic. The girl appeared near the building, observing quietly. She raised her hands slightly, and a faint glow emanated from her fingertips. To everyone's astonishment, the flames seemed to respond, slowing and bending away from the trapped families inside. The girl moved carefully through the smoke, guiding people to safety. Once everyone was out, she turned to the firefighters and asked the same question. "Are you my daddy?" The firefighters stared in disbelief. One of them, a woman named Chief Lang, finally said, "No, but you are brave." The girl nodded, her mission moving forward. She didn't need people to claim parenthood. She only needed them to show courage, kindness, and responsibility. News of the event spread quickly. People were amazed, but the alien girl's calm and polite demeanor remained unchanged. She continued her search, asking question after question, quietly observing, learning, and understanding. Dr. Ramirez finally met her in person again. She approached slowly, remembering the first time she had seen the girl in the park. "I see you've been busy," she said. The girl turned her head. "I need to see everyone. I need to know who cares, who helps, and who learns." "I will find my daddy this way." Elena nodded. "I understand now. You aren't looking for one man. You are learning about all humans, aren't you?" The girl smiled. "Yes, humans are strange. They are gentle and cruel. They fight, but they love. They are strong, but they are fragile. I will know who can be a father to the universe." Over the next weeks, humans showed her their best qualities. A boy rescued a kitten from a storm drain. A teacher stayed after school to help students who were struggling. Neighbors shared food with those in need. The girl observed quietly, her eyes filled with curiosity and silent approval. Every act of kindness and courage was noted in her memory, like threads being woven into a larger understanding. But not all humans acted well. Some ignored the child, laughed at her, or tried to trick her. The girl noted those too, learning not only about humanity's strengths but also its weaknesses. Yet, even in the face of cruelty, she remained calm. She never judged with anger. She simply observed and learned. One day, the girl arrived at a crowded city square where a group of people were protesting. Tensions were high and arguments were growing loud. She walked slowly into the center, her presence immediately drawing attention. People stopped and stared. No one had expected her to appear among them. She raised her hand slightly and asked the familiar question, "Are you my daddy?" The crowd laughed, thinking it was a joke. But the girl continued asking each person individually. Some answered honestly, some lied, and some refused. But then she did something unexpected. She touched a small device on her chest and a soft, glowing light spread through the square. People felt calm. Their anger faded. They looked at each other, realizing the futility of fighting. Slowly, the protest changed from chaos into peaceful discussion. Dr. Ramirez watched from a distance, amazed. "She's not just observing," she whispered. "She's teaching. She's helping humans see themselves." It became clear that the girl's question, "Are you my daddy?" was more than curiosity. It was a test, a way to see who could embody the qualities of protection, kindness, and guidance. It was not about biology, but about spirit. As days passed, the girl's movements grew more purposeful. She was no longer wandering aimlessly. She visited hospitals, schools, disaster areas, and communities in need. Wherever she went, humans showed their best traits. Nurses stayed late to care for patients. Volunteers helped rebuild homes after storms. Parents comforted children who were scared. Each act, large or small, was noticed by the girl. Finally, Dr. Ramirez confronted her. "You've been traveling all over Earth," she said. "You've seen humans at their best and worst. Do you now know who your daddy is?" The girl paused and looked up at the sky. "I see many daddies," she said softly. "Humans can be fathers to each other, to the weak, to the lost, to the future. I do not need just one. I see that humanity itself can be my daddy. They can protect, care, and love. That is what matters." Dr. Ramirez smiled, understanding at last. The child's mission had never been to find a single person. It had been to test humanity, to find its heart, its courage, and its kindness. And humans had passed, showing that they were capable of greatness. Before leaving, the girl gathered a group of people in the park where she had first arrived. She handed them a small device similar to the one she had left behind at the lab. It could communicate with distant worlds, a gift and a responsibility. "This is for you," she said. "Use it wisely. Care for each other and you will care for the universe." Then she smiled, waved, and slowly lifted into the sky. Her small body glowed faintly as she disappeared among the stars, leaving humans in awe. They realized that the girl had not only tested them but had also inspired them. The world would never forget her. Children would tell stories of the silver-skinned girl who asked the same question to everyone. "Are you my daddy?" Scientists would study the devices she left behind. Communities would remember how she had calmed conflicts and inspired courage. And humanity itself would remember the lessons she had taught. Kindness, bravery, and care were the true measures of greatness. As night fell, Dr. Ramirez looked at the stars, wondering where the girl had gone. She thought about her words, her tests, and the simple, powerful question that had changed so much. Humanity had learned that being a parent was more than raising a child. It was about nurturing, protecting, and inspiring. Somewhere in the galaxy, the small alien girl continued her journey. She would visit other civilizations, asking the same question, observing, learning, and testing. But she had already seen the heart of humanity, and it had passed with courage and kindness. And back on Earth, people continued to ask themselves the question she had left behind, not just to strangers, but to themselves. Could they be brave? Could they be kind? Could they protect and care for those who needed them? The question lingered like a soft echo across the planet, reminding humans that greatness was within reach and that even the smallest, most mysterious visitor could show them the way. The girl's presence, though gone, remained in spirit. Humanity had been tested, and it had shown. They had learned that their strength lay not in weapons or power, but in their hearts, their minds, and their willingness to care. And with that lesson, the universe seemed a little closer, a little kinder, and a little more ready for what came next.